Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to share with you a homeschool update. And in this video, I'm going to share with you many resources. So there will be a lot of links down below. If there's something there that interests you, definitely check it out. It's been about 4 or 6 weeks since the last update. My daughter went to drama camp for a week and we did Shakespeare. We participated in Shakespeare week. Now, we're still reading Shakespeare and doing some Shakespeare activities, and I'm going to share quite a few of those with you today because I had a lot of questions asked on Instagram. So, because I kept posting pictures in my stories, so I thought it would be great to share some of those links here and resources with you today. And I'm going to kickstart us by talking about Greek mythology. So our last update, I did mention Greek mythology. So if you watch that, you know we're studying Greek mythology. Now, these are cards that I laminated these. And the purpose of all these cards are we're going to do a family tree. Now, we've been doing that to practice learning the gods' names and who's the Olympians, who's the Titans, who's the demigods, that sort of thing. And as you can see, they all look quite different. And that's because I got them from multiple free resources offline. And some of them were missing. So I had to get them from another site. Look, those are so cute. And once we feel that Vivian has them memorized, I want to say we because I'm memorizing them right along with her, to be honest. But once we're at a great place with that, we're going to actually take these Velcro and do a family tree, like a much bigger one, where they're locked into place. So I can't really link all these because, like I said, I did get them all over the internet. And these ones here I got from a university that has a lot of information. I think I might be able to remember that one. But the rest of them, yeah, there's just too many. I will say that I did notice, if you like the ones that look like little children, that there is one from Teachers Pay Teachers. So I'll link that below, even though I just went with the free ones. But yeah, like if that's something you think your kid would be interested in, I'll link that below from Teachers Pay Teachers. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun, the family tree. And it's a great way to practice until you know the names well. Now, I picked up another little piece of curriculum that we're using, and this was from Alex from Homeschool Bel Air talked about this. Now I have two because she was using them with her kids. And so thank you, Alex. This one is Delaire's Book of Greek Myths. It's based on that book. As you know, we're doing that. And this one is from Teachers Created Resources. And we haven't actually started this, but it has a lot of activities. I thought it looked like fun. I'll leave a link. I'm going to stop saying that. I'm leaving links for everything down below. But yeah, this has a lot more activities because the other one that I shared last month that we purchased from Teachers Pay Teachers is just the questions, which we love. I love that. It's helping Vivian to remember. We read this, then listen to the chapter from Delaire's book on audio, and then come back and read these questions again. But I wanted to add something a little bit more fun, and hopefully this is it. The other thing we've done is we've switched over to this book, the Greek mythology, which you saw in one of my book hauls. The reason that we did, and we'll be going back to Delaire's, so we'll probably end up flipping a little bit back and forth. But the reason we wanted to, I asked Vivian if she did want to start here, is because the layout makes it much easier to memorize. So when we were working on our family tree and trying to remember, like, if you can see that, the layout for this book is just very helpful for that memorization. And then it gets into the specifics for every god, which is kind of a neat layout, but it's really the memorization at the beginning that we're working on and then going to continue on through. So those are some additions to our Greek mythology. Now, Vivian and I participated in Middle Grade March, which is a readathon on BookTube, and that happens every March, which is a lot of fun. I asked Vivian if she wanted to participate in that with me this year, and she said yes. So we had a stack of middle grade, and I knew I had an ambitious pile, and we didn't get through all the books I said we were going to read in middle grade March. A big reason for that is I was really diving deep into research for our curriculum for next year. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys in the next couple weeks. But 4 books were read. Vivian and I read 2 together, and I read 2. So I'll start off with the one I actually read. And this is A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. And look at, I just think this is so gorgeous, the covers. I ordered this special in from Book Depository because I like the UK covers. Anyway, I did listen to this one on audio, and this was one of Vivian's favorite books last year for middle grade. So I wanted to catch up with her. I was surprised when I read this book. I didn't really pay much attention to the description this time. I mean, I bought these months ago, and I thought this was going to be a really light, feel-good, cozy kind of read. And one thing after another happened to these girls. I found it a little bit stressful. Like I started to find myself getting anxious every time I thought things would be okay. It's like, boom, something else happened. So I just wasn't in the right state of mind. I had too much going on, I think, for this book this month. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. I really liked it. I do think my timing was a bit off for this book. But again, my daughter is 8. She absolutely loved it. Now, the next book I ended up reading by myself. I did start this off with Vivian. She wasn't really into it. I asked her if she would keep going with me. So she did hang in to about page 150, which is pretty good. And then she just really didn't want to read it anymore. And I don't know if I would have read it if I hadn't have said I was going to for middle grade March. And I'm really surprised because this is a BookTube favorite. And I'm not sure why, to be honest. And I've heard it likened to Harry Potter. I mean, I know people like to say that when they go to magical schools and different things like that. But no, not at all for me. And I just found it took a really, really long time to get into the story. It was a fast read, so thank goodness, or I probably would have quit. I liked it. It was okay. It was just okay. And I actually have the second book, and I don't know if I'm going to read it. It certainly wasn't one of my favorites. And again, I'm not sure why everybody loved it so much. But I guess that's why everybody has different tastes, and there you go. Now, the 2 books that I did read with Vivian, we both absolutely loved. So I'll start off with Pegasus, and this is The Flame of Olympus, and this is by Kate O'Hearn. And this is about Emily, who discovers a Pegasus on her roof after a big storm in New York and Manhattan. And it turns out she has to help save Olympus. And very fun read. My daughter and I were totally into it. Fast read. Yes, so we have the whole series of this, and I'm really happy with this. I think I rated it 4.5 out of 5. And it was a really great read. It had lots of information. If you're into the Olympians, this is great. And they use the gods' names from the Roman times, like Jupiter. So that's also kind of neat. I will say that it's definitely written for a younger audience in terms of the language that is chosen. You can definitely guess what's going to happen next, for example. And yeah, but I wasn't bored at all. I totally loved it. I'm looking forward to reading the next book. And the last book we read was absolutely, no surprise, one of our favorites. This is the Polar Bear Explorers Club, and this is the 3rd book in the series, and this is Crossing the Black Ice Bridge. These are by Alex Bell, and my daughter and I absolutely love these. As you can see, there are illustrations throughout the book. Not a huge amount, but enough to make it even more interesting. This is a 5 out of 5. We both absolutely love this series, and it's read so fast, and we always want to dive into the next one as soon as it's finished. And it's always exciting when we get the chance to pick up the book again when we're reading it. And definitely this is one where you want to just put everything aside for the day and read it from beginning to end. Highly recommend this series if you're into fantasy at all. Okay, that's basically a wrap up for middle grade March. And yes, so I didn't film a middle grade March wrap up. This is way too late for that. So I thought we put it in here because these are read alouds that we did together. And that doesn't include our chapter books or anything like that. I've stopped including those. But if that interests you, maybe I can start including them. Just let me know. Now I'm going to jump into Shakespeare. So I'm titling this Shakespeare Resources for Kids. This is just a little pop-up house of Shakespeare's home that Vivian colored. Now this is one of the resources that was in the Shakespeare week that I printed off, and she colored that. I did mention in some of my hauls, either the last one or second last one, I'm not sure. These are the two books that we picked up, new Shakespeare books. Now, every time we went to read another Shakespeare, although we only read 3 this time, we did read Shakespeare Retold, and this is by E. Nesbit. So this is the book that we read before we picked up a longer version. And these are really digestible and well written. Yeah, I really like this retelling in a big way. Now the other book we picked up, and this is because it's illustrated by Koa Lee, and she did the retelling, she did the illustrations, and this is the third book we have by Koa Lee. Sorry, that's terrible. Koa Lee. I should have looked that up next time. This is absolutely gorgeous. We didn't end up reading any of here, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a flip inside and look inside for the 3 books we have by Koa. So if that interests you, actually, I'm just going to do that. So I hope it interests you. Now, I showed these last year. These are the Shakespeare Can Be Fun by Louis Burdett. And these are so amazing. So she's written in what's called rhyming couplets throughout. And then this here is by kids. So kids from her class. And all the way through, they draw pictures and also write like letters to Hamlet or what have you in certain parts. And it really adds to the understanding and the telling and the fun. I've chuckled quite a few times by what the kids have written to go along with the story, and my daughter said it has helped her to understand some of the plays a bit more. Okay, I realized that the one I'm missing here is Hamlet, because we did read the Hamlet in these books as well. So we actually we read Macbeth through this one? Oh gosh, I should ask Vivian. I can't even remember. No. So we really get into Macbeth last year. This year, we watched some of the resources and an animation on BBC, and I will talk about that in a couple minutes and link that. So we didn't actually read this particular book this year. We did read Hamlet for the first time in this book, which for some reason is not in this pile. Must be out around the couch somewhere. Anyway, so Macbeth last year, and this year we read Hamlet for the first time and The Tempest. So we really get into The Tempest and did quite a few resources on the website for The Tempest. So this was the one I concentrated on more than anything this year, but because we ended up just continuing on with Shakespeare, because it was enjoyable, we did read Hamlet for the first time, like I said, which was great. Now, I did start the 12th night, and Vivian found it very confusing. There's quite a few characters, and because there's twins involved, it just gets a little bit confusing, even when it's told from the, like in the rhyming couplet and the kids' versions, still got confusing. So what I did was I ordered, these are popsicle puppets that you color and then you do up. I'll show you the ones Vivian already colored, because we did watch A Midsummer Night's Dream on the animation on BBC, and I ordered these. So Vivian has colored these, and this is by, I wrote this down so I could actually mention her name. Yeah, it's by Rachel Kiwi Designs on Etsy. They're very affordable, and if you don't want to color them or your kids don't want to color them, you can order them already watercolored, but it's fun for Vivian to color them while I do some more reading, I found. So we haven't actually put these on popsicles or sticks yet. She did finish coloring those, and her dad helped her cut them out. The reason I'm mentioning those is because I went on and ordered, we had already ordered, be clear, Suzanne, trying to be clear here. I had already ordered A Midsummer Night's Dream when we first started Shakespeare Week. I just thought that would be fun for Vivian. And, you know, if you're going to start out reading your kids Shakespeare, A Midsummer Night's Dream is definitely the first I would suggest starting with, because it's fun, it's funny, it's silly. It's a lot of like just silly antics, and yeah. So one of the characters ends up with a donkey head. It's just a lot of fun. So that's my first suggestion. I was asked that question a couple times on Instagram, and that's definitely, I didn't come up with that. I started out with A Midsummer Night's Dream based on Ken Ludwig's suggestion from How to Teach Your Kids Shakespeare. And I can see why he does that. Anyway, I went back on to Rachel's Etsy and ordered all the characters from Twelfth Night. So my intention is Vivian will color this, we'll cut them all out. And once I have them, I'm going to go back to read Twelfth Night with these and see if that helps to make it less confusing. And I'll let you know how that works out, because I think it might be the key. Now, I created 2 kind of workbooks, one for me and one for Vivian, and this was all based on resources from Shakespeare Week. Now, this is just, and I laminated it, which I'm sure you can tell because the light's reflecting off it. This is their Shakespeare sketchbook. I just think it's really colorful. I think it's in here. Oh, no. Now, I would say out of everything that I printed off here, we did like 1/8. And I'm totally okay with that, because some of it's from last year, some of it's new, but I wanted to have it for anytime we do Shakespeare and want to refer to it. And if I had made Vivian do all that for the short amount of time I had allocated, it just wouldn't have been fun. So now we have it and we can refer to it at our leisure. There's actually some more that I'd love to add from the website, but that's the one I did up for her. And then I took a picture off, see it says Shakespeare Week, and laminated the cover for me. So this was my teacher book. Now there's a couple of, debating on how to explain this, or if I should just get out my computer. I'm going to leave the general links for Shakespeare Week down below, and then also for BBC they have this teaching kids site that has a lot of stuff for Shakespeare. Now, BBC, when you go on their site, some things you can see in Canada. I'm in Canada, and some things you cannot. I imagine that's the same for the United States. So one thing that they have is called Shakespeare Retold, and this is a bunch of authors went and did a retelling, and they're short. So somebody's reading the story and you can listen to it, and it was a lot of fun. They also, with this Shakespeare Retold, they have a lot of links. They have a lot of resources and information for each telling, which is what we have in here. I would definitely check that out. So I will leave a link to the Retold page, and you can just follow those links and get that information. The other thing I would highly suggest checking out is the radio. I was able to listen to all the Shakespeare retellings in Canada, but they had these teaching resources, and if you can see there, it's all animation. So all these stories are told in animation. Now, if you look on their page, Shakespeare Week Teaching Resources, we could watch 1, 2, 3 of the animated videos series, and we couldn't watch the other ones, but that was plenty, because they had Macbeth that we watched. They do have A Midsummer Night's Dream, so we definitely watched that one. I know we didn't read that again this year, but we did watch it on animation. And they have, look, a lot of resources on there. And this is for all ages. Vivian's quite young. So what I just showed you, I think it's recommended for like 9 to 11 or 12. Oh my gosh. And we also did The Tempest. Yeah. And they even have more information than I downloaded. Oh, and this I got from Shakespeare Week's site. These are retellings. If you are interested in getting more in depth with a particular study, now this, I have a whole bunch of information for Macbeth. And if you look in Vivian's, pack, they even had a student pamphlet that I put in her package, although we didn't get into this year, but oh, it's just amazing. And this is so much. You literally could do a whole study. And it's very easy to understand. You don't need a teaching degree to do so. And the reason that I chose to do Macbeth is because they also have a part where they really get into the music and everything. And I think I noticed that for the Tempest as well. I keep meaning to go back and check, because I would print that off for that as well. I don't know if you can see this down here. I don't think you can. This is awkward this way. Yeah, if you want to do a music study. Okay, so you can get as in-depth as you want from little, and this is good. You'll find resources for little kids all the way up to high school, definitely between those two sites. I do want to say we're continuing on with how to teach your children Shakespeare. We're going at it quite slow. But one of the links that I noticed on the BBC site was for a modern day production, like a TV production that was shown in the UK for A Midsummer Night's Dream. And it looks so much fun. So I did subscribe to a channel, and Vivian and I watched it on the weekend. And I had a proud mama bear moment because she started to spiel off. She had memorized a couple of passages in here that were in the movie because they're quite famous. And she started to say them as the play was going on. Anyway, it was great fun. I'll definitely put a link to that down below as well, because yeah, I smiled so much to this retelling. So it was a modern take on this story, and they kind of fluctuated between modern day English and Shakespeare English. It was very funny. I laughed a lot. We are doing Latin America, Living Legends, Living Legends Latin America by Anna Guanera. And we will be starting that in May. Well, we might start before the end of this month, April, but definitely for sure we're doing it May and June. And if you saw the video I did on cleaning out our cart, you'll see this. I'm going to include this. It was one of the things I forgot I had, and that's from Homeschool for Me. These were just these little, and she had them for a bunch of different countries. Anyway, they're just cute. It's always good to have something for Vivian to do if I have a lot of reading to do. One thing that actually challenges me now in that regard is Vivian isn't so excited to color as she used to be. So I have to try to find things that are a bit different, or maybe some activities that are a bit more involved. What I'm also going to do during that Latin American study is we are going to study Peru a little bit more in depth. I think I've mentioned that in a previous video. But I also wanted to take the opportunity to show you a resource that I have from a bundle that I purchased back in January from the Wild Explorers, a travel journal. That was a bundle. I already used the Antarctica study from this bundle. We used it with our penguin unit study. Part of it is South America. And oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. Everything from this bundle is gorgeous. And I am using 2 pieces from the bundle over the next month. And I just wanted to show you that. I think what I'm going to do when I do the next video. So I have a video coming up before this week is out that will show you some examples from this bundle and another bundle, because I really want to share them. How do I do this? I'm going to do a close-up, I think. Oops. I just said deja vu. Yeah, that is absolutely gorgeous. And you will see this in a video coming up later this week. The reason I'm doing this video is I wanted to show these beautiful resources that we're using. And also, because it is curriculum time, people are sharing their curriculum pics. And I know if you're like me, but doing a lot of research, I just want to show other homeschoolers that there's also an alternative to, you know, open and go out of the box curriculum. And I have come across some gorgeous ones. Like, yeah, this is amazing if you're doing any kind of world study. Yeah, so great. Now there's way more in this bundle than these two I'm about to show you. But I wanted to mention it in this updated video because we will be working on this stuff over the next little while. The other thing that was included is this Beatrix Potter Art Unit Study. And we're going to do a Beatrix Potter study. And you'll see that video, I think this week as well. Now I had hoped to include that and all the material that I'm using for our Beatrix Potter study in this update, but I can tell it's too long. I'm just going to have to do a separate video for that, but I'll give you a quick glimpse of this one as well. Ooh, wait. Oh my gosh. And this is by Wildflowers. I think it's Sarah at Wildflowers. I don't know how to show these like this. Let's see if this does it. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Has a little bit of everything, which is a lot of fun. Now, I love this is in here because I just never thought to do it. But now that that's there, I realized I can pull in some of our other amazing resources to do a little bit on the city of London. Like we have the Lonely Planet Cities book. So it'll be great for that. Yeah. Watercolor techniques. Place for copy work. You can use these for a picture study. Yeah, absolutely stunning. Every time I look at this particular bundle and some of the other ones I'm going to show you, I just feel so grateful. I can't even believe the price point of these when you get them in bundles. It's crazy. And the reason I didn't even get this video that I'm mentioning out to you is because once I started printing, I didn't even realize how much was in the bundle, that it took so long. So I couldn't get it ready in time. Next, I'm going to show you a couple more resources that will be included in the Beatrix Potter study. But the reason I want to show it to you now is because this bundle, these pieces come from a bundle that is still for sale. You can still get this bundle up until April 14th. And I really had hoped to have out that other video where I'm showcasing some alternative curriculum before that date. And it might get out like the day before, I'm not sure, but it definitely isn't enough time to let all of you know. So I wanted to show you a couple pieces and then really emphasize that if you see something you like, definitely check it out. And I'm only showing you a couple things because there's so much in this bundle. And yeah, I couldn't possibly show you in this video, but just so you get an idea of what's included. Now, they've also done something really great for that bundle. This is called the Nature Schooling Mega Bundle, and it definitely is mega, and the Spring Edition. So there's 25 pre-made spring themed units. Now, I thought this was quite amazing. What they did this time, which I was so grateful because I've bought other bundles within the last couple of years, especially nature bundles, that there's so much of it, I get so overwhelmed. But they really broke it down. And what they did is first they gave you all the resources available by age. So there's preschool, early elementary, age 6 to 8, upper elementary 8 to 10, middle school 11 to 14, high school 14 plus, and then all ages. And then what they're doing, and there's some bilingual ones there for Spanish, is, as I mentioned in the front, 25 pre-made. They've taken all the curriculum and they've created some unit studies. So if you just wanted to go by those and print them off, you can. So it's a spring unit study, fruit and planting, farming. Okay. And also, I finally figured out, I downloaded at the back, you could list them all just in a couple of pages. So look at this. So if you didn't want to look for them by age, because I found that started to get a little bit, I want to choose what age. I mean, obviously we're not doing preschool, but I chose something from the like 4 to 6 range that I think is still fine for us to use. And we use older things as well. So this is 3 pages of all the products. Oh, yeah, 3 pages. 3 pages. It's crazy. And they're all gorgeous. Okay, I'm not affiliated at all, but I just think, I can't even believe that we have access to this. I think it's amazing. So definitely check it out if you're into this sort of thing. Okay, these are the ones from this package that I am using, that I said I would show you for a Beatrix Potter study. And this is Rabbit versus Hare, a comparative nature study. And this is by For the Love of Homeschooling, which actually you should check them out if you're on Instagram, For the Love of Homeschooling, because she offers with other creators, at least once a week, they're offering something free. So if you like this kind of content, definitely check her out. Okay, just want to show you some of the artwork that's in here. Beautiful. And then of course the cards, which I love these. Wildflowers. Owl. Okay. That's one that we're going to be using. I thought that was perfect for Beatrix Potter, Rabbit versus Hare study. Oh yeah, I grabbed a couple of other pieces to give you an example of what's in the Nature School bundle. And this is Little Spark Company's Deciduous Trees. And of course, I wanted to print this off to add to our tree study, which we have hardly done anything on. So, life cycle. Some more cards. Interesting, you know, I think I might have these ones already. Do I? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. It's beautiful. And the last one that I was very excited to have is by Dire Time. So Dire Time did the penguin study that we used over the winter that was so amazing. And she did one on Sarah Plain and Tall. And this is a novel study book report activity. And she actually has quite a few things I noticed. Dire Time in the mega schooling bundle. But this really caught my eye. We haven't read this, but it's on my list to do over the next year or two. So this will probably bump that read aloud up. Now, she includes everything in here to do a, you know, normal kind of book study, but she also, your vocabulary words. Okay, I am definitely doing the close-up. All right, she gives us cards of the people in the story. Look at these. Oh my gosh, like seriously? The wheat. Butterfly life cycle. The artwork, just amazing. Okay. Yeah, historical timeline. Apparently she's a mail order bride, which I didn't know. Yeah, so much fun. So these are just 3 from that bundle. But definitely check it out. If you're watching this video before April 14th, definitely check out the bundle, because I think it's totally worth, well, it's worth way more. I think they're saying it's worth over $900. Anyway, go check it out. That is everything I'm going to share with you. That added up quite a bit. And I hope you found some resources in there that you can use in your homeschool. And I will see you soon with another video.